All right, well, welcome back. It's Ebba and Gary's on camera. Today, we're going to get to my December journal, even though it's long into, well, not far enough into the week. It's the 6th today that I'm recording this, so you'll see this sometime next week. But yeah, I need to do a December journal. I've been so unwell the last month. Well, but just over 2 weeks. It feels longer. I've got some sort of, I don't know, flu or whatever, and I'm struggling with it. But I've got to get this done, and I've got a couple of other videos that I have to do this week, so it'll get done. Anyway, my journal. My December journal, or any of my journals that I do on a monthly basis, are not super fancy. I like pictures in them, and I like pages to write in. I don't do a lot of odd pages, like I don't put a lot of vellum or things like that into the journals I use on a daily basis. I just tend to just have a journal that I can use. So this is going to be my front cover. That's the inside of the front cover. This would be my first signature, so the first week. And I tend to divide my journals into 4 weeks, even if there's an extra day someplace or other. I divide them into 4 weeks. This one is particularly pretty. I will have to find the name of the people that I got the kits from. This is at least 2 kits, possibly 3 kits that I've taken pages of. The one kit that I've taken some pages from has 100 pages in it. It's a beautiful kit, and the pictures are all just gorgeous. The name of the company will be in the description box. We do not have the ability to leave links in the more or description box area at this point. In our YouTube, we have to have a channel, working channel, for longer than what we've had. So we have to kind of work our way up to that. But right now I can give you the names of the Etsy shops that I buy things from. Anyway, this is, as I said, my journals tend to be really simple. I have a writing page and a picture page, and then a writing page and a picture page. And then when you get to the back end, it's a picture page and a writing page kind of thing to it. And that will be the same in all of the signatures. As I said, the pictures in this kit are just gorgeous. Isn't he the most adorable bunny? I just love that bunny. He's just so cute. The eyes are very expressive on that little bunny. And I love his little coat. Anyway, yeah, there's food and presents and all sorts. Mostly Christmassy types of pictures, related pictures with the holly and everything. But as I said, the kit was just gorgeous. There's an adorable bear. He's got the cutest little smile. I like him. And I just went through and I picked pictures that I really, really loved out of the 100. And I think, I'm going to correct myself, I think I only took pictures from that journal kit for this. And it's a Christmas journal kit. But like I say, there's 100 pages in it. So I will put the name of the kit in the description more area below this video. And then you can go there and you can look them up on Etsy and find their kit. And this is another one that's adorable, cute little smile. I love teddy bears anyways. I mean, I don't know very many people that don't like teddy bears, but there are a few, I imagine. And this teapot and cup are just so cute. I love a beautiful teapot and cup and saucer. Anyway, so we are going to put together my journal today, and I have 3 of the signatures done, put together. They've been sewn. The 4th one I'm going to sew with you so that you can see how that's done. If it's something you've never seen or never done, it's actually pretty simple. I'm not going to put the holes in. I'll tell you about the holes in a second, but I'm not going to actually put the holes in. I'm just going to do the stitching in this case, because I've already done the holes. So when you've got a signature, you want to have 3 holes if you're doing a 3-hole stitch, which is what I do in most of my signatures, smaller signatures, a 3-hole stitch is lots. There is also a 5-hole stitch where you stitch it slightly different, but the 3-hole stitch works for me, and that's the one I use most of the time. I'm going to be binding this kit slightly different. I'm not going to be using a hidden spine or anything like that. I'm going to be binding it with ribbon in a different way. So you'll get to see that in a few minutes. Anyway, as far as the journal signature is concerned, you need a needle, you need some kind of thread. You can use embroidery cotton, you can use a heavier thread. What I'm using is actual binding waxed thread, it's called, and it's thicker. It's like a heavy button thread, and then it's been waxed. And the waxing just helps with it sticking and staying where you want it to be, and not, you know, your knots don't come undone and things like that. Now on my signatures, I did one on the outside, tied it on the outside, and another one on the inside. So this one I want to be on the inside. So where you want your tie is where you start. So I start here in the middle hole. There's a hole here, a hole up here, and a hole down here to stitch into. So I start in the middle hole and I go through, and I always clip mine, keep mine clipped after I put the holes in. I keep my pages clipped together so that the holes stay lined up and you're not trying to find the holes. So you just pull the thread through, make sure that you leave yourself a tail here. So I usually just kind of hang on to it. And then you want to go through either the top or the bottom. It doesn't matter which, it's up to you. I generally go through the top first. You know, I usually go through the right, and mine there did find itself. And then you pull it through. Don't pull it too tight, but pull it so that you've taken up the slack on the back end. So, and make sure that you don't get caught on this the clips that you put in. Then you go all the way down to the other end, to the bottom, in my case, or to the top if you're doing it from the bottom first. You go all the way through and pull it through, and you want to pull it fairly snug. At this point, you don't have to worry about tightening it. You're going to be tightening it in a moment. And then you go back to the middle. Now the middle, try not to come up through your thread. You don't want to come up through your thread. What you do want, though, is to be on the other side of the string, the middle string that's dividing, like this part, this middle string. You want to be on the other side from your other thread. And it doesn't matter which side, as long as you're on the other side of this middle string. And then you pull your, whoops, did I lose it? Nope, I'm still there, and I'm barely hung in there, but okay, we'll do that again. Well, let me just try that one again. So yeah, so come up through the middle. Don't split your thread, like hold this one away when you're coming up through with your needle, so you don't put your needle through your thread and split your thread. Then get on the other side of the string, and then push and get your needle and pull it up through. And you might have to wiggle it a little bit to get, you know, that bumpy part through. And then take your needle off and set it aside. You're done with your needle at that point. Now what you want to do is turn your book either upside down or upside up, it doesn't matter. But you want to turn your book. Now the reason you're on either side of this is so you can tie over the top of that string. So you want to snug it so that the string is fairly tight, and you know that it's going to be taut on the back. So check and make sure on the back that you're not tangled on anything, or anything, that your string is nice and straight and taut. And then pull it snug, and then you want to tie it. You want a good tie. So what you want to do is do left over right. I don't know the name of this knot. I just know it's a good knot for keeping things tied. Left over right, right over left, and that means cross it over the top and pull it, tie it. Now I always do a third knot. You don't have to, but I always do. And then left over right again is what I do. Now the reason you're doing this over the top of the string is so that your knot doesn't pull down back through your thread and undo your whole thing. It doesn't pull back through the little hole you've got there. So this way, it cannot do that. It cannot pull back through your string. And then you want to just take a scissor that's good and sharp, especially if you're using this type of thread, and cut it. Now you can cut it fairly short. I usually just cut it about like that, and then I flatten it. I just tend to flatten the knot, get rid of my strings, and that's it. That's it. And you can take your clips off, and you've made a signature doing that. And you can make your signatures quite thick as long as you do your thread long enough. Normally what you do is you do your thread 2.5 to 3 times the length of your book or your page, so that you've got lots of thread to work with when you're pulling it and bringing it through and everything. Okay, so that's my 4 signatures done. Now we're going to put this thing together. Now, I've never done this this type of binding before, so this could prove interesting. And you'll notice that I cut this crooked because I have really bad eyesight and I do my best, but even using a trimmer, I can cut things crooked. And this, I used a trimmer, and I still ended up cutting it crooked. So, forgive my crookedness. Even this, I didn't get it over far enough. In this case, I don't sell my books in these journals or my monthly journal. I don't care. If things like this bother you, or if you're selling or whatever, then you're going to want to take more care and trim this off and do all the stuff, and but I don't really care. And I'm not going to do inking and all that stuff because this is my monthly journal. What I do in my monthly journal is I keep track of notations of things that are going on day to day. For instance, if I'm not feeling well, I keep track of what I eat because I'm trying to lose some weight, and writing down what I eat actually helps because it makes me aware of what I'm eating and how much I'm consuming. And that's all it's for, is just that. And then I also have a little thing that I made up. Let me just try and show you. I need to keep one out so you can see this little thing and what it's got on it. It's got my sleep pattern here. It's got my meds here. So I put my date at the top. Once a week I weigh myself. I do my blood pressure every couple of days so that I can keep track of my blood pressure and heart rate. And I keep track of my meds, whether I've taken them or I haven't taken them. It's a really good way that I don't forget things. As you get older, you tend to forget certain things. It's not that you've got dementia or Alzheimer's, it's just that you're doing other things, you get busy. I mean, even young people do, but most older people have meds of some sort they're taking, and you really have to kind of keep track of them somehow. This is my way of doing it. I pull my book out quite a few times during the day. Just pull it out and I'm writing things and I'm doing things in my book. So it's always handy. It sits right beside me on my desk. And I do keep track of things. I keep track of when I take my Claritin, which, because I have COPD, I have reactions to dust and things in the air. It's not that I'm allergic to things, it's just that because of the COPD, I have reactions. On some days, other days I'm fine. So when I take it, I put in the time and I know the day and when I've taken it and things like that. Anyway, so that's what my book is used for. You may keep a daily diary and do entirely different things. So let's get at trying to fasten this thing together. Now I've chosen some nice wide ribbon for part of it, which is going to be this. I like it. It's got this ribbon running through it, and it's white on white, which I kind of like, and it kind of goes with my book a bit. So I'm going to use this. I had thought of taking the white ribbon out and putting in this shiny ribbon, but I changed my mind because it's one more step for one thing. I just didn't really think it needed it. I think this is pretty on its own. So what you want to do, and this is going to be the other ribbon. It's not a super wide ribbon, but it is a quite nice ribbon. And this is one of those ribbons that you haven't seen the video yet. There's a video coming later in the month. There's a video coming of a haul that we did from Value Village. I show you a lot of ribbons and things that I got and tell you the prices and things like that. And this is one of the ones. And it's brand new. It's still got the plastics off to take the plastic off before I can cut it. But I thought this would go really nice as the in-between ribbon. And you'll see what I mean in a couple of minutes. So I'm just going to get this off of here without wrecking the ribbon, I hope. There. Got it. Yeah, there we go. So that should have done it. So I'll just pull that. Yep. Seems to have a piece of tape there. Okay. Good. Okay, get off my glove. Yeah, what a beautiful pen. Oh, I'm really pleased I picked this one. It didn't look quite as shiny in the packaging for whatever reason. But anyway, so what we're doing is we're going to start with this. Now I'm not going to cut this end ribbon off. Well, I can. I'll cut it off right at even and take that away. So what you want is you want pieces about that long so that you can put a page in a page. Okay? And you're going to start with the front cover. So that's my front cover I showed you before. And I'm going to cut pieces of ribbon. I'm going to cut them about here on each of these. And I want 3 for each page. I'm just going to get a different pair of scissors because those ones are just not great. These ones are better for cloth. And I'm going to cut about 2 of these ribbon sections. And don't worry, they'll be being glued, so it's not going to, the little ribbon's not going to tear out. Okay, you don't want to cut that. There you go. And 3. Okay, I'm going to cut these at a time so that I don't get messed up with doing it. And then I'm going to turn them all over so that the back side up because I want the front side to show on the front. So I want to put glue on the front of the book. It's going to show like this. And then I'll put a piece of this pretty ribbon down covering all 3 of them when I get to that point. Or I might use, if we've got enough left, I might use some of this to cover it or something. But anyway, so I want to just start by gluing 3 pieces, and I want them approximately even on the page, but not right up to the top or right down to the bottom. So about even like that. I'm going to line them up. I'm going to get my glue, and I'm just using Eileen's Tacky Glue. It's my glue of choice these days because it's cheap and I can afford it. It does the job. I mean, you know, it does what I need it to do. I'm going to put a little bit underneath this first ribbon here, the little one that sticks through the slot, so that it's held in place. And I'm putting about that much on the ribbon. And I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to set it in place where I want it. So I'm bringing it down from the top, maybe 1/4 of an inch. It's not very far down from the top, but it's enough to give that little bit of space. Then I'm going to put the bottom one in, same way. Oops, don't pull the ribbon out, you fool. Oh, no. That's the trouble with wearing gloves. I wear gloves because I get glue all over myself otherwise. And it turns ugly and dark and black and yeah, when I'm on camera it doesn't look great. So I tend to wear gloves when I'm doing gluing, especially when I'm working on camera. But they do have a tendency to stick and pull things because they're, you know, very sticky that way. Okay, so we've got that and that. And we're going to do this one. Same way. There. There. I want to get enough glue on that it'll hold the cloth, but not so much glue that it makes it funny. Okay, so that looks about right, yeah? Yeah, look at that. Okay, so that's part 1. Then the next part is your signature, so your next signature. you want to glue your signature, your next signature comes onto here. You want to put it far enough apart that you've got room for all your other signatures. No, you don't. You don't need that much. Anyway, you want to put it far enough apart that when it bends, it doesn't go weird. But not, you know, not too far. So I think I've actually cut these a little bit too big, if you can see what I mean. But what I'm thinking is I'll do the top and the bottom big like that, and maybe I'll make this center one a little smaller, a little shorter. I'll cut it off a little bit. So my kitty doesn't get, because I like my kitty. Okay, gluing. Okay, I'm going to put glue on the top and the bottom. You can actually do this gluing probably easier if you're using something like a Mod Podge, or you know, something that comes in a bigger container. You dump some into a dish and then use a brush of some sort to put the glue on. Then I'm going to do the bottom at the same time. Now note, I'm not gluing right up to the edge. I'm just gluing so that it'll wrap around and glue on the back of the signature. And you're putting each signature in individual, which you normally do in most, well, a lot of bindings, not, I shouldn't say most, because there are many, many, many bindings that you can do. Okay, now, line me up, put this down like that, good, put this down like that, good, I'm going to hold that, make sure it stays. In the meantime, I'm going to look at this one and see. Now, I want to be careful where I cut to. Yeah, where do I want to cut to? About there, about the middle of that one. So, all right. Gluing some more. Now this one's got the tie on it, the outside. Actually gluing a little closer in too on this one, on the ribbon itself, which is okay. I'm not getting my head in your way. Sorry if I did. I just realized I had my head poking a little too close. There we go. All right. Oh, that looks nice. Quite like that. Okay, so that's number one. Now, okay, I've messed up already. Already I've messed up. I need ribbon for my next, for this. I'm going to have to do this kind of tricky. Okay, so what I want is, I want this and that. I want two little pieces that I'm going to glue, and this is going to be tricky how I do this, because I have to glue them from the bottom. So I'm going to glue them on the part that's coming in here first, and I'm going to kind of poke them back through the bottom. Sorry, but this is the thing, the fun thing about crafting is you see something and then you want to try it, so you do it. Now notice, this is about halfway between this ribbon and that ribbon. You want to do that. Okay, so about halfway, I've done that. Okay, and I'm going to put my other one wherever, there it is, wherever it got to. Okay, some glue, and enough glue on it to hold it. Poke the unglued part back through, which this is not how we'll do the rest of it, but it's how we're going to do this one. And then, there, roll that, and it's about halfway. You can see that. I'm not measuring, I'm just going. Okay, and then on the other side, you see, you've got this. Now, this is to hold your next one on. So my next one is going to go here. Okay? It's going to have this and this on it, but it's also got to have the white ribbon on it. Okay? Just so, just trying to make it so that you can understand what I'm doing. So with the white ribbon, the other one's got to have it on as well, because that goes to the next one. So you glue this and you roll it up. Okay. So it's going to have this on it and this on it. And that's holding it to the second signature, or the first signature. But in order to hold on to the next one, it needs ribbon here. That's going to go to the next one. So it needs ribbon on the front before we roll this one and glue this one. So we need to take and cut our ribbon to the length we want, which I'm going to do it a little shorter than I did on the first one. And hopefully this is, I'm going to test this one because I don't want it to be too short either. And then you want to try and line them up. Like you want to try and line this ribbon up with this ribbon, so that when you look on the back side, when it's all finished, if you can imagine, it's going to have this look on the back, depending on how many signatures you've got. Well, you know, kind of govern. So you want to kind of you want this ribbon to be glued onto this, but onto this side, if that makes sense to you. Okay, I want to see. I think it's going to be okay. I think this is about the right amount of ribbon, so it doesn't take up too much of my pictures on the back of them, but at the same time it glues the whole thing down properly, and glues in my little ribbon strip and all that. Okay. Putting glue about halfway, and then this is going onto the front, about in the same place. So line your book up. Line your book up. Okay. And do it about like that. And, you know, line that up. But make sure you've got it over enough that you've got enough to wrap around for your next guy. So it's got to come over enough that you've got enough for the next signature to come. Because this signature is fastening in the next signature, like signature 3. This is fastening it in. So this is what you're doing. I'm hoping I'm making some sort of sense for you. I think I'm going to cut my ribbons a little longer because that felt a little short to me. So, and I'd rather have a little more ribbon than too little. Okay. So, next one. Turn them over. Do them the same. Pick this up a little bit, catch it down. I hope I'm not evening here, and this is the first I've felt like doing something. So I said, okay, let's set the camera up and get me going real quick, because on this day I just don't know how soon I'm going to wear out. This flu that I've got is just, apparently it's everywhere. So, you know, it's just one of those things. But it feels like it half feels like a cold, and it half feels like the flu. So you feel kind of nauseous, but you know, you're at the same time you're feeling like you've got a head cold, which is not fun. But there you go. Okay, so that's that one on, and then we'll put this one on like that, and then we turn it over. But first, we put glue on this, and on this. And see, in the meantime, these two have had enough time to dry a little bit. And you take and you set a little bit back. You set this on this, like that, leaving yourself a little bit of space in between, but not a huge amount. And lining up your books, line them up. Oops. Okay, and well, maybe it'll work better if I do it from this side. That didn't work. The other lady that I watched, she just rolled them up over each other, and it looked really cool the way she did it, but I'm obviously not that dexterous. I used to be really dexterous. Yeah, old age crept in on me, and there I am. Okay, I think that's a little too tight. Loosen it back a little. Yeah, you don't want it so tight that it's pushing the pages down, because I put things into my book. Obviously, I'm gluing in those little cards, and I glue in my food tracker and things like that. I either glue them in or I put in pockets and then I stick things in. But I don't do that at the beginning of the month. I do that day to day. So I decide today, how do I feel? Do I feel like doing a pocket? Do I feel like, whatever? And I do it that way. All right, moving right along. Now we've got signature 3 coming up. Now, signature 3 is being held in by these 3 things, but has to also have something for signature 4. So it has to have this gold ribbon put onto it in the appropriate place before we glue on the lace. Okay, so here we go with gold ribbon. I think I'm doing really good remembering how to do all this. So I don't know if you've ever done this kind of a binding, let me know. I will put down in the comments, I'll put down who it was I watched this. I cannot remember who it was right now. I watched her once do this, and I thought, oh, that's really cool looking. Okay, so this has to go on the front of the book in the appropriate spot in order to catch the next signature. Okay. We glue, and I'm gluing not quite half. I don't think you can see me back there, and I don't know if you can see me there. Don't really want to glue on top of my book, so I'm sorry if you can't see me actually gluing, but I'm gluing not quite half of the ribbon as I'm gluing. Maybe you can sort of see it's not quite half of the ribbon. And then I put this one down and kind of line it up with that one. Once I line up the book, it makes more sense. There, kind of like that. Okay, and then we turn it over like that. Okay, now it's ready to go to the 4th signature. And so now we're putting on the glue again onto the lace, and we're going to be gluing the lace up and around and holding this 3rd signature in place. And I'm really, really hoping this is making any sort of sense to you at all. Anyway, we'll do it, and then we'll see how we did. This one I got crooked, but this is the thing, is this is like, I'm sharing my daily journal with you. This is not something I usually do. It's usually quite a personal thing, and I don't usually share. But I figured while I'm putting it together, I may as well show you, sort of this binding, because I think this binding is really cool. Okay, so that was just too short. That's too short of a ribbon. This one will be better, even if it does take up some of my picture. It's a cute little penguin. And this one will be good too. So you wrap it around there. Now that signature is now held in place. This is ready for the 4th signature. Okay. And I made my signatures crooked. No, I moved it. I shouldn't have. See if we can push it and prod it into place. There, that did pretty good. It's fairly even. All right. Now we bring in the 4th signature, and it's going to hang on to here, right? So that's going to hold that in place, and then we need to put some lace on. So we need 3 more pieces of lace. And now that I know I need it a little longer, we'll just do it longer and be done with it. You can pre-cut all this, and you can use anything you want. I mean, it doesn't have to be ribbon. It can be a piece of material if you want. Just, it can be paper. I mean, it doesn't have to be ribbon or lace or anything particularly like that. You can use anything you want, strips of anything. just to hold your book together. As long as it's something that's actually going to hold later on, you know, when you're using the book. And I just thought the idea of using some pretty lace on these pretty pictures is just good. It's just fun. So yeah, so glue. See if I can push this up a little and show you the gluing. So glue, and you know, kind of imagine in your mind where on the front of the cover this is going to sit, and get your glue in place. How far in you'd like it to be. I'm going to make two. I'll do the third one, in the middle one, separate. Kind of. I don't want the glue to dry either. You know, kind of as I'm working with the lace. So, oops, wood. Oh, no, I want to keep that lined up. And put this, and this goes on the front again, on the front of your page. So make sure that you're lined up, bottom or top or somewhere that you're lined up, and then you can line your lace up with the other lace piece, you see. And I'll do the bottom, like the same way, line it up with the lace. Got it. And then take my third piece, do the same thing. And if your lace has an up and a down, like some of them do, you'll have to watch for that too. Like if you're doing something that's got, or cloth or pictures or anything, if it has an up and a down in it, you'll have to watch that you put it on using the up and the down thing. Okay. And it's not, I'm not using a huge amount of glue. I don't know if you can sort of see that when I kind of flash it on your face, but there. Okay, so that's the lace part done. Then we turn it over, and the lace is going to hold the back cover on. So now you want to glue this and fasten the signature into place, because now, right now it's just loose, right? And we need to fasten it. So let's get some glue onto this ribbon. So it's actually been quite easy to do once you sort of get it straight in your head what you're trying to accomplish. It's actually quite easy. So then you just move it forward, flip that up, hold it, and then flip that up. Come on, flip up. There you go. Flip it and hold it. Just enough to glue it. All right, so now on this one, this is my back cover, and this is the inside of my back cover. So it's going to go here, and it doesn't need anything more than these 3 strips. So all you do is you flip it onto the back like this and glue the strips, and you're all together. And depending on how you want to finish, like if you want to finish your book with the same on the back as is on the front, then you definitely want to make sure that you have an even number of signatures, and then your front and your back cover. And you notice that your front and back cover are not fastened together. So they have to be loose from each other in order for this to work. So just cut them apart. That's what I did. That's why they're crooked. Just cut them apart. And I put an inside on mine. They weren't printed with an inside. You could print front and back if you wanted, and then put them in. My glue bottle has decided to get tricky. Just give me a few drops of glue, would you? There. Okay, and then put this in place. I know that that's my back cover. I want it nice and straight, so I'll just straighten it and hold it. And then you wrap that, and you wrap that and hold them down a bit. Now the front cover should be good and solid, or at least, basically. So if you turn it over and then you press, then you're pressing all of your ribbons the same. Okay, so there. And that's what it looks like on the back. So it's really quite pretty. And then if you want, you can add ribbon onto the front side to hold this, make it pretty, finish it off, whatever. Like you could take this ribbon, for instance, and you could actually wrap it around if you wanted to, but then that covers up, that kind of defeats the purpose, because I think it looks really cool with this sort of stripe effect. I didn't get everything straight. If I'd gotten it straight, it would probably look better, but there you go. So that's what it looks like when you get it, you get it glued. I really quite like it, and I've never done it before, so it's kind of really neat. I like it. Once it's dry, once all the ribbon is dry, which will probably be tomorrow, it'll be really nice to kind of flip open and see things. And I mean, you could cover things up if you wanted to. Like I say, I don't really care. I do have certain things that I put onto each of my journals. I've been doing this for a year. One is a side tab. I usually glue on a side tab with the month on it. And they sit in different places on my various journals because I have one journal for each month. So I usually put on a side tab. This all came from a My Porch Prints planner, and it's like a simple planner. Again, I'll have the name of it in the description. So it comes with a little calendar. You fill in the dates yourself. It comes with words. This one is December, which I'll probably put somewhere up here. I'll cut it smaller and put it up there, maybe. This I'll probably put on the inside, and I'll cut the edge off probably to even it up a bit, as even as my eyesight allows. And then this will go on the edge. This will go on the inside somewhere, probably on the first sort of page. Now each week, well, the first page is going to be kind of taken up. Each week I have a weekly schedule type of thing. So this one is fastened because there's first and second, Friday and Saturday, which I'm including in the first week kind of thing. And then it's got Sunday to Saturday. So I've just glued this on so it can be flipped out and kind of folded up if you need it to be. And normally what I do is I glue this to page 1 of the week. And then that just stays blank. So I might take this and put it in there just to keep, sort of consistent with what I'm doing. I can do that. Put it in the corner there like that. And then next week, in the next signature, which is the next week, I would put the next page, etc. And on the very last one, I actually took this Saturday and put it over the top and put the Sunday on the bottom. So just so that, because it was only one day in the week, and that would have been another signature, and anyway, doesn't need to be for me. But yeah, so that's how I do my journals. Really glad you came along for the new binding. I think the binding is just really neat. I like it. That's going to look really cool on my shelf. I can see myself doing other journals with that binding. Hopefully getting it a little straighter, but it is what it is. Yeah, I could do some ribbon along the side here, and that would cover up that. I mean, you do what you want. For me, it'll probably just be like this. I generally, the covers, I generally double cardstock them. The pages are usually just paper, 24 pound usually. I use a little bit heavier bond paper. We're going to get into papers in another video later on, probably in early January. We'll do a paper thing, and I'll explain bond versus GSM, because bond is a North American thing, and GSM is the rest of the world. So we'll get into that, and I'll explain the differences and what bond means to different types of paper, because it means something different, which is what makes bond the bond paper system really bad because it's so inconsistent. Knowing what a 110 pound doesn't mean anything unless you add in whether it's cover stock or index stock. Anyway, that's another video. So thank you very much for joining me for today's little thing, and I will see you next video. I'm hoping that I'm going to do that tomorrow, but we'll see how I feel. I will be seeing you in that video. All right, bye.